Welcome to Keeping Country Strong. I'm Erwin Benz, my co-host Carl Richards. And we got a great studio audience tonight.
Wait a minute, I didn't hear that. Let me hear that applause. Come on.
Our special guest tonight is a multiple Grammy Award winner, including Lifetime Achievement Award, and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Mr. Pete Seeger, a living legend. Welcome aboard, Pete. And R.J. Storm and the Old School Band are going to be playing with him tonight.
All right. Well, now you're in for another day, Pete.
You don't know what? I'm not the person I was. I've lost my memory.
Okay.
And we may start singing a song tonight, and I'll have to let them carry on with it.
Well, you could bring Benzee up because he's lost his mind many times. we are really proud to have you here and keeping country strong. You're an icon, really. Everybody knows you. You wrote so many good, great songs.
Pete, who are some of your favorite performers to play with throughout the years?
Well, R.J.
Besides R.J. Storm and the guys.
I do it.
Besides these guys.
I'm not paying you on that. He's got to pay you.
We have a little club on the waterfront. It started as a Clearwater club, and I called a meeting. 3 people showed up. My wife said, "Don't call it a meeting, call it a potluck supper." And 30 people came. And it's still a potluck supper at 6:30 and a short meeting at 7:30. It's kind of a contest between people who want to say something and people wish they were a shorter meeting. But then about 8:30, we start a little song fest, and we just make a kind of rough circle around. One person has got a microphone cable very long, so he can reach way over there, and somebody way over here, somebody way over here. And the singing gets better and better. I thought the song fest would last half an hour or an hour. It goes on 2 hours, 3 hours, occasionally 4 hours. Once it went on to 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
I can see that. Music does that.
Well,
First Friday of every month.
Nice.
and the singing gets better as people get more confident. And people have never thought of as a singer, but they have a favorite song. He says, "I don't know what key it's in, but if you want to sing it with me," they start singing some song, and pretty soon people are harmonizing and so on.
Well, we got a guy here, Mr. Phil. He has no key. He just. Well, there's his cohort, but he's pretty well known. He's a good guy. There you go. See. But, yeah, we really. I know you got so many stories that you're doing, and now are you going to be in Milford? You were saying maybe, or you don't know for sure.
I think so.
We just inked the deal. June 8th, we'll be at the historic Milford Theater in Milford, Pennsylvania for a big environmental awareness and anti-fracking concert.
Amen.
Very good. We just inked the deal with it, for the concert. It will start at 7 p.m. I don't know what I don't know ticket prices yet. I don't have any more information other than that, Pete. You know as much as I do, and now you all know. But it will be June 8th at the historic Milford Theater, 114 Catherine Street in Milford, Pennsylvania, which is a 101-year-old theater.
Right.
Wow.
And the guy bought it and restored it. It's beautiful in there. That old Art Deco stuff.
Yeah, he's been having a lot of music over
You
there.
know, Pete, he really does have a lot of stories. I mean, how many people could tell you stories about Woody Guthrie or Leadbelly?
That's right.
Or how many people marched with Dr. Martin Luther King?
Oh, I got a little interesting story about King. He was graduated from school at age 15. He was only 14 when some man wrote an angry letter to the Atlantic Constitution. Says, why do Negroes want to marry whites? Don't they know we're supposed to be separate people? And this 14-year-old writes, Dear editor, surely Mr. So-and-so, whoever wrote that letter, must know that if in our country we have people of mixed ancestry, it's not because Negroes want to marry whites, but because of aggressive white males taking advantage of defenseless black females. In one sentence he said what most people would need a couple of paragraphs to say. He's a genius with words.
Well, I'm sure you've met quite a few different songwriters and stuff and artists. And, what's your favorite song that you think that you wrote yourself?
It's like asking your mother, what's your favorite child?
Oh, I know, but I had to ask you. I got a list here Benzee told me about, but there's always one that you like, even if it wasn't a hit, that you really like better than a lot of other ones. I know that.
There's half a dozen songs I sing more often, mainly because they're songs I can get the crowd helping me out.
Well, these guys are ready, right, guys?
You know what one of my favorites is that I hadn't known until I did a little research that you had written was the song that Turtles made famous, Turn, Turn, Turn. I had no idea. Oh, what did it say?
Birds, turtles. He can't remember either, come on.
I'm just testing you, Pete, that's all. But I didn't know you had written that.
In the book of songs that I put out, it's called Where Have All the Flowers Gone?
Beautiful.
A sing-along memoir. I printed 5 extra verses that were written by my wife, Toshi. She said to me, you ought to have some verses for children. I said to her, why don't you try writing them? And she wrote 5 quite nice verses. So after we sing this song all the way through with the original 4 verses, I sing. A time for work, a time for play, a time for night, a time for day, a time to sleep, a time to wake, a time for candles on the cake. There is a season, turn, 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 sing it, and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to dress, a time to eat, a time to sit and rest your feet. A time for quiet, a time for talk, a time to run, a time to walk. To everything turn, turn, turn. Where is the season? Turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to cry and make a fuss. A time to leave and catch the bus. A time to teach, a time to learn, a time for all to take their turn. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under time to get, a time to give, a time to remember, a time to forgive. A time to hug, a time to kiss, a time to close your eyes and wish. Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time for dirt, a time for soap. A time for tears, a time for hope. A time for fall, a time for spring. A time to hear the robin sing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven.
Great, Pete Seeger.
All these people came here to see us talk. They want to see you guys play.
Yeah.
So
Got it.
why don't you head on over that way and set up, and we'll introduce you again. In the town of Port Jervis, I'd love to thank you for coming out here tonight. Thank you. And we know you anyway. All right, Benzee.
All right. Well, these guys got all set up.
Well, you know
Unbelievable.
what? We're gonna have some Irish bands coming on soon.
You know, people don't realize I got to sing Turn, Turn, Turn with two Hall of Famers. You're in the Independent Country Artist Hall of Fame, and Pete's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, thanks, Benzee.
But, I mean, how many people can say that? About 60 people here in the
Everybody in the room
can say that. So everybody here can say they got to sing with two Hall of Famers tonight, which is really cool. All right, folks, now for your entertainment, we have multiple Grammy Award winner, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, and living legend Pete Seeger with R.J. Storm and the Old School Band. Take it away, guys.
She was born in an old Monessen alley. Her ma and her pa, they called her Sal. She grew up to be the pride of the valley, a typical Monongahela gal. She wandered one day by the river, and she watched the Jason steaming by. Her heart gave a leap and a quiver as she caught the handsome pilot's roving guy.
His name, so they say, was Moat Stanley. He wore a fancy sporting coat. He was tall, dark, and handsome, and manly. The best darn pilot ever steered a boat.
Now Moat gave a toot on his whistle as the Jasons churned the water at her stern. And Sal, stepping light as a thistle, reached up and took Moat Stanley's hand in turn.
It was love, careless love by the river. Everyone sing.
Was love, careless love by the shore. And I'm sure the good Lord will forgive her for she never knew what love was like before. He swore that he always would love her. They walked through the old Answorth Dam. That night overboard he did shove her. Then most Stanley took it on the land. So roll on, Monongahela,
The little river.
roll on to the old Ohio. Roll on past Aliquippi, down
To the Mississippi,
went to the Gulf
of Mexico. No one could say
Well, no one could say Sal was sickly. She didn't even take time out to ball. She hightailed it right down for Sewickley,
snapping out
a fast Australian
crawl.
She hopped a fast freight for Rochester, and there was Mona steaming close to shore. From a yard bull who tried to molest her, she up and swiped a great big 44. She raised a fat big shooting iron. She fired 6 shots into Mo. And when she laid down at the raw heart, she sure messed up that fancy sporting coat. Down to the judge, Sargent said, well, good morning. The jury foreman said, not guilty, gal. To all you young pilots, take warning. Don't mess around with Monongahela Sal. So roll on, Monongahela, where the catfish and the carp left long ago. You used to be so pure, but now you're just a sewer, messing up the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, that was so good.
Now, Pete, you helped bring a great song out. You knew Leadbelly, and Leadbelly had this song you did about the Midnight Special. That's where that came from, did it not?
Yep, prison song. The prisoners had a legend that if the light from the midnight train passing the prison should shine its light through the bars on a man, he'd go free. So the song said, let the midnight special shine her ever-loving light on me.
Go on, G.
Lead off.
Well, we got a great audience here.
We
You
got
all
a
know
great
this
guitar picker over there too.
Well, one day, sir, I was walking along. I heard that special call, singing along some song, let the midnight special shine light on me. Let the midnight special
let the midnight special shine a heavy loving light on me.
Yonder comes Miss Rosie. How in the world did you know? I can tell by her apron and the clothes she wore, umbrella on her shoulder, piece of paper in her hand, goes a-strutting to the governor. I want to free my man, let the midnight special shine light on me. Let the midnight special shine its ever-loving light on me.
The midnight special shine a light on me. Oh, let the midnight special shine a ever-loving light on me. Oh, let the midnight special shine a light on me. Oh, let the midnight special shine a ever-loving light on me. Ever-loving light on me.
What do you want to do, Pete?
You tell me. A song I wrote way back in '54, and I rediscovered it a few years ago. And if you put it in key of E, I can sing it. Don't you know it's darkest before the dawn? But this thought keeps me moving on. If we could heed these early warnings, The time is now. Bright early morning. Can you sing that last again? If we could heed these early warnings. These early warnings. The time is now. The time is now. Bright early morning. Bright early morning. Some say that humankind won't long endure. But what makes them feel so doggone sure? I know that you who hear my singing could make those freedom bells go ringing. That repeats if we could hear singing. Make those freedom, make those freedom bells go ringing. And so we keep on while we live until we have no more to give. And when these fingers can strum no longer, and the old banjo to young ones stronger, if we can strum no longer, and the old banjo young ones stronger, young ones stronger. So though it's darkest before the dawn, this thought keeps me moving on through all this world of joy and sorrow. We still can have singing tomorrows through all this world of joy and sorrow, of joy and sorrow. We still can have, we still can have singing tomorrow. Sing that again. Through all this world, through all this world, joy and sorrow, joy and sorrow. We still can have, we still can have singing tomorrow. Sing it again. Through all this world of joy and sorrow. We still can have, we still can have singing Why don't you lead off on something?
Oh, Lord.
Topic.
I don't know that I was prepared for this.
There we go again.
Pick me one out. So cheap.
Okay. Dear GB, okay. People's
You know, this is for my friends Beverly and Barbara over there. I first met them. They said, you know, I like a certain kind of music. You probably don't like that. So, what kind of music do you like? Oh, well, we like bluegrass. What a coincidence. I happen to have a band that plays music just the way God intended for it to be played.
Yeah.
Bluegrass style. Look, here's a little tune called the Foggy Mountain Special.
Yeah.
Guthrie went from Oklahoma with a lot of other Okies, went out to California. And there he met an actor named Will Gear. You remember Grandpa Walton? Yeah. That was Will when he was an old man. Well, Will Gear said, "Woody, I'm going up to sing for the lettuce strikers in Bakersfield. Can you come along with me? They're all Okies like you. They'd like to hear your songs." They became a team. Then Will got a job on a Broadway theater, the Forest Theater, just a few blocks from Times Square. And the producers of the play was Erskine Caldwell's Tobacco Road. And the scenery was some sharecroppers' shacks and a lot of red clay dirt on the stage. He said, Woody, the producers say I can run a benefit concert for the farm workers at midnight. If you can make it here by March 1st, it'll be in sometime in March. Woody was hitchhiking through Pennsylvania in late February with his thumb stuck out and the cars going zoom, zoom past him. But he did have a nickel for a cup of coffee occasionally and went in, and Kate Smith's record of God Bless America was on all the jukeboxes then. And he wrote some verses, and the last line of each song, of each verse, was God Blessed America for me. But he wasn't completely satisfied. We never heard him sing this, although I have a copy in his own handwriting in my book of the song as he wrote it in the year of 1940. 8 years later, he thought of changing the verses of this song, and he recorded it for a tiny little company called Folkways. Big sale for them was 500 or 1,000 records. Oh, you'd be interested. The head of the company was Moses Ashe. His father was a famous writer, Sholem Ashe. Wrote Joseph, he'd take a story out of the Bible and make a novel out of it. And he says, Mo, you've bought a recording machine. Will it fit in the trunk of my car? And Mo says, yes, why? We've got to drive to Princeton and get Dr. Einstein to say maybe about a few words, maybe a minute. This was in February 1939. And Dr. Einstein will say a few words to American Jews: get your families out of Germany right away. So they drove to Princeton, they recorded the message, then over supper, Dr. Einstein said, well, young Mr. Ashe, are you a writer like your father? And Mo said, no, I make a living in putting public address systems in hotels. But I've made enough money to buy this recording machine, and I'm fascinated with what it can do. There's a great Negro folk singer in New York named Leadbelly, but nobody's recording him. They say he's not commercial. He's recorded for the Library of Congress, but you have to go to Washington to hear the record. I think these records should be for sale. And Einstein said, you're absolutely right. Americans don't appreciate their own culture. It'll be a Polish Jew like you who will do the job. Mo had entered through Ellis Island when he was 12 years old. And he started a record company, but Ash Records went broke in a year. One of his distributors let him use their name. Stinson Records went broke in a year. He tried to start Disc Records. That went broke in a year and a half. But then tape recordings were invented in 1948 and they were still putting out these shellac records where you had to pack them in sawdust to mail them. But they also invented LP records. And Woody now thought of a new last line for this song. And it got in a publisher who published millions of songbooks for American schools, put this song in the songbook. This song was never sold in any music store, not a single music store. This song was never played on the radio, not once. But 20 years later, everybody in America knew the song because the kids liked it and they took it home. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Highland, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me.
As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that golden valley. This land
Get some harmony. High harmony. Look.
This land is your land.
This
This land is mine. From California to New York Island,
from the redwood
forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me.
in the squares of the city, by the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office, I saw my people as they stood there hungry. I stood there whistling. This land was
Made for you and me.
Not all these verses got in the school songbook, but Woody's son Arlo was 7 years old, and his father said, "Arlo, can you write?" There's a couple verses that didn't get in the books. So little Arlo wrote this verse down. Was a great high wall there, tried to stop me. Was a great big sign there, said private property. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me.
This land is my land. From California to New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land
Was
made for you and
one more. Nobody living, sing it. Nobody can ever stop me as I go walking my freedom highway. Nobody living can make me turn back. Make me turn back. This land was made for you and me. There we go.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me.
Very nice, sir.
Well, how about a hand? Come on!
Unbelievable. Pete Seeger with R.J. Storm and the Old School Band. Great stuff, guys.
Don't worry, he's gonna play some more. I had to talk to him for a few seconds here. So how do you like Port Jervis?
Listen, this is one of the most important towns in the world, because the fellow who built that Brooklyn Bridge got his training putting a bridge across the Delaware, just west of Port Jervis.
Nice.
And what he learned putting that bridge over Karen Cole, he then knew how to build the Brooklyn Bridge.
Nice,
Globally.
nice.
Very good.
Hey, listen, Pete, I don't want to be ahead of all these folks here, but would you mind autographing a picture for us? Because these people, they all want your autographs, your shoes, anything they can get. And, would you mind? I got a really nice picture here.
Security!
For the
Security!
station. There's no girls in that one. Right up here, if you could just put to Carl, Benzee, and the crew. That'd be fine.
2.
I'm close, that's close.
C-A-R-L or K-S?
C-A-R-L. And Benzee.
B-E.
B-E-N-Z-E-E.
He's been a cop too long, this guy.
B-E-N.
Where's his cat?
Z-E-E.
Z-E-E.
That's it.
However you want to write it, it's fine by me.
Carl and Benzee.
Oh, and.
Yeah, that's Carl, that's Benzee.
Yeah, that's Benzee.
Good
And,
gosh,
and
man.
to the crew.
And to the crew.
Because I gotta give them copies of this. They're not getting the original. That's the way life goes.
Good gosh.
Just get me the second generation copy, dude.
Do
The
it.
rest we're not gonna worry about. RJ, why don't you introduce the guys,
the guys in the
You
band.
guys doing a great job tonight.
Fellow in the pink shirt. That's my buddy who plays bass. That's Tony Nelson. And this next fella, not my normal guitar player, but you know,
I'm his abnormal guitar player.
Abnormal.
my friend, we go back 35 years playing on the late bus. And we played on and off, and anytime I've gotten in a jam or I needed a guitar player, Pete Prieto has always come through.
Very good, very good. 20 and out.
But we're so glad you guys came down, and I'd like to thank you because you made this happen.
I have a hammer. I have a hammer in the morning. I hammer in the evening. All over this land. I hammer out danger. I hammer out warning. I hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters. If I had a bell, ring it in the morning,
I'd ring it in the morning,
ring it in the evening, all over this land. Danger!
ring it up, danger,
Warning!
ring it up, warning,
Love!
ring it up the love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land.
If I had a song,
I have a song,
sing it in the morning,
I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing it up danger,
warning,
sing it up the warning, I'd sing it up the love between my brothers and my sisters all over this
well, I got a hammer,
I got
play all night. Would you mind that? We don't care here. This is American music, and we don't care if you play till dawn. But, thank you very much. We'll get set up and we'll introduce you. Mr. Pete Seeger. All right, go ahead, Benzee.
All right, RJ and the Storm going to take us out, and Pete's going to play from the audience for a while. Take it away, guys. Living legend Pete Seeger and RJ, Storm, and the old school band.
We did a little bit of this before, and Barb and Beverly liked it, so we'll do the whole thing. Now you can see a wonderful video of this. I see Pete and Johnny Cash will live forever now on YouTube, doing the Worried Man Blues. Well, here's our version of it. It goes like this. Well, it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. I went across the river, I would never sleep. I went across the river, I would never sleep. I went across the river, I would never sleep. When I woke up, the shackles round my feet. I said it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried man, but won't be worried long. I got 29 links, a chain around my leg, yeah, 29 links, a chain around my leg. Got 29 links, a chain around my leg on each link, and an initial of money. Said it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. Now I asked the judge, tell me what's gonna be my fine, yeah. I asked the judge, tell me what's gonna be my fine. I asked the judge, tell me what's gonna be my fine. 21 years on the Rocky Mountain line. I said it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long.
I looked down the track, far as I could see. Looked down the track, far as I could see. Looked down the track, far as I could see. A little bitty hand was waving after me. I looked, sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long.
It takes a worried man to sing a worried song.
This country boy is a singing when the sun goes down. He had all the answers about the way things ought to be. Some folks came to listen, some folks couldn't see that there's pain in his fingers, pain in his heart, trying to make a living, searching for a brand